What's up, everybody? It's Nick with Mystic Manifesting, and today I've got about 40 minutes, so I'm gonna try and make this as fast as I can, all one take. No matter how many ums or uhs or getting lost or separated on track or off track, like that, I'm gonna make this video. So this is the video that probably everybody wants, and probably will be one that probably the most watched video. Just started making videos right now. Um, but it's how to get your SP back and based on how I got mine back. So long and short of it is I got my SP back 5 times. I keep getting the number wrong, but it's like because there was like a period where it's like, well, like we weren't really together, but we kind of were together. It's like when we were just getting to know each other, kind of a friends with benefits thing that morphed into more. But 5 times in 1 year. So I don't know if I'm gonna do all 5 at once, like because each time it was a different technique or a different scenario. Question right off the bat, or something that, like I said, I wanted to make this channel for a while after I learned. I said this in another video. Like I said, we're getting way off track, but basically, right now I'm recording like a string of videos. I did my channel intro. I did a intro about one of the first times I used law of assumption, and now SP journey, which it is a journey. That whole process was a journey, and it actually led me here. I didn't want to make videos like this. Primarily my dreams and goals go towards acting and comedy and stuff like that, which I do that, but like I said, I'm not in one of the other videos, I'm not meshing the channels. I don't want to like have people who see me as that see me as this or this that. Maybe I do later, I don't know, but right now I feel kind of called to do this. I've felt called to do this since I've manifested her back the first time, and yeah, that's when you really feel, oh man, I'm God. Like Neville says, you're the God of your reality. Everyone is you pushed out. So I wanted to go over all these principles and stuff like that, where they came in handy and helped me out a lot. And if I go over to, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Like I said, I'm a bit of a time crunch, and I've had showered up and cleaned up. I'm looking pretty good to do this video and come at you with the best looks I got. Because I'm about to go to work and I'm gonna get dirty anyway, so I don't want to film at work, which I'm not gonna be able to have time to do that anyway, or after I'm gonna be tired. So way off track. Let's get into the SP success story. I guess I'll tell you the most interesting story with her. I had to tell the whole story. So basically, if you see, I don't know if you could tell through with this shirt and stuff, like right here I have a dent in my chest. I tore my chest because I was pursuing a woman who I really liked, and we really vibed and clicked and stuff like that. She seemed like the perfect woman. I wasn't looking for that woman, but she kind of came into my life and things were going good, and then all of a sudden I started having fears and getting very attached. um, I'm a big nerd, so I'll make a Star Wars reference right now. In Star Wars they talk about having attachment being dangerous. So when you're too attached to something, it leads to fear of losing it, so fear of loss. Then basically Yoda goes on the whole thing about how that leads to the dark side, which would be just living in a 3D world and being subjected to everything in the 3D world. So sorry, I'm getting all like distracted and out of it, but my whole success story, or my whole journey, starts here. It's like a 1.5 year process or more, so I'm gonna try and make it as short as possible. Basically, I tore my chest because I was subjected to the 3D world. I knew about law of attraction for years. I was really into Neville at the time. And when I met this chick, I started fearing losing her. And I really liked her. We really vibed and things were going good. And I'd never been with a woman as hot as her. We actually never even got together. We went on a couple dates, but I was like it's a stupid reason, but it's like, I was like, man, I felt a connection with this girl. It's like, this feels like divine intervention, the way we met and everything like that. Kind of went against all the odds. So I really wanted to be with her. And then I started, and she wanted to be with me, but then like sometimes like I'd be insecure and stuff like that. And she'd pull back. And it's all like, and I wouldn't even be doing anything different. Like the stuff I was doing, flirting with her, she would be receptive to it one day. And if you look back, I'm very confident that day. And then a day where I'm kind of feeling like shit, or I had a bad day at work, or I'm feeling insecure or something, or she could get any guy she wants, or she'd post a really hot picture. I feel insecure. And then now all of a sudden she's pulling back. So that's like the first experience I started. That's when I started realizing, okay, yeah, this is there is a law. Everybody is you pushed out. If you feel like shit and you feel like this person doesn't want you, they're not going to want you. That's pretty much the core of the SP story. And I started developing a negative story with her that, oh, she's only into, the guy she described was a bigger guy who works out. Bigger guy who works out, beard, which right now I'm trimmed up, but I had a full beard at the time. Um, like basically like a very rugged guy and man to man type guy, which, I mean, no, but she basically described me, and like we went on some dates and stuff like that, and she really seemed interested. She was flirting, stuff like that. But then for some reason I got in my head that, like, because she mentioned something about liking money and stuff, and she said some stuff stuck in my head. I was like, oh man, she's probably really into little skinny guys with tons of money who are clean shaven and dorky looking, and oh, where like, not if any of you are watching and are dressed like, there's nothing wrong with it. But I just started developing that story. That's how she is and what she thinks and what she wants. Basically one day she just hits me up with that hey, you know, I still want to be friends, or like there's that message where it's like you kind of know it's going to the friend zone, and it's like a panic mode. Fuck, dude, no, I don't want to go to friend zone. And that's what happened. I was going there, and I fucking was like a dork, and like, oh, well, hold on, wait, we could try. No, now you're in 3D, and now you're arguing and fighting with 3D. That doesn't work. Everything is all mental. Everything is all law of assumption. What your assumptions are, and I didn't really know it this much, and I started panic watching Kim Velez, and I don't know if I was watching Create Your Future then. Who else was around back then? Like I said, this was like 2020 maybe, or 2021. But basically a lot of the same channels everyone here probably watches. So I'm watching all those channels and panicking, but I'm operating it from a high, like panic, oh no, and then all of a sudden, then one of her things was like, I never post pictures with another guy online if I'm dating him. 2 weeks later, oh, she's dating the guy, oh no, fuck. And I was like, maybe she has to be burned by this guy to realize what a good guy I was, and all this like white knight stupid like bullshit about, oh, I gotta get this girl. And I was, the whole time I was on panic mode. I gotta get her. So, oh, Robert Zink was the other channel I was watching too. I watched a lot of Robert Zink. I like him. With Law of Attraction Solutions. So if you want to check out his channel, I'll try to link all these channels too on in the down below. So anyway, I was panicking. I was watching all these videos. It's like, why can't I do it? 2-cup method. Oh man, fell out the 2 cups. Oh, here's my shitty reality. Here's my good reality. Pour it in. Oh, or whatever. I forgot the whole method, but you just do that one. Oh, hold on to a little stone, a gratitude stone. But you're panicking the whole time. The point of law of assumption is you assume you have what you already want. So if I would have been in that time sitting there, yeah, I'm already with her. Here's how our relationship feels. Here's how I think about her, and be blind and deaf to what you see in the real world. I don't care if she's posting pictures with him, like mute her shit or whatever. Don't watch it. But instead, I was in panic mode, and I was like, I'm gonna get bigger. Which you've already made the assumption she likes little skinny dudes, so why did you need to get bigger? So anyway, I go to the gym with my buddy whose pecs are as big as my fucking head, and he's lifting heavy ass weight, and I'm dehydrated and all in depression mode and sad, which if you were in a relationship you wouldn't be in that mode, but I put myself in that place. So I'm all sitting down in the dumps. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to compete with him. And then there's some cute girls over there. I was like, I'm going to impress these women. So I take 80-pound dumbbells. If you're not familiar with working out, you start low and build up. 80 is not that much for me at the time, and it's like, okay, 80. Then jumped up to 120s. I go up, here, snap through my headphones. I'm like, what snapped? And then I hear water rushing. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I come back down, look up, pec tears. So then I go, and that's like kind of the traumatic event that spiraled, because working out's always been like my place of peace. It's been my dream. I wanted to do bodybuilding, acting. We basically followed the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone thing and do some comedy with it. I like to keep things light, try to make it funny. So I go down like, all right, now I have a torn chest. The girl I'm in love with doesn't love me back. We never even got past like a date or two, and now she's got me all cut off. She's with some other dude. He's a fucking loser. I hate this guy. And like, I'm in such a negative mood. And then there's a story. I'm gonna make a separate video for the chest tear, because there is a manifesting story with this too, because I was supposed to lose my job and a bunch of stuff happened with this. Yeah, so that was another thing. I'm about to lose my job. My chest is torn, my bodybuilding dreams are shattered, the girl I love is gone, and Basically like over amplifying everything anyway. So I'm in this really negative state. Shut down and go, okay, well, by my birthday, when my birthday was in March, all this happened at the beginning of February. A bunch of negative stuff started happening in my life too around this time. The house that's been in my family for generations burned down. Grandpa almost died. Family members getting sick. My uncle got really sick. My mom almost died. A whole bunch of stuff that was really bad was happening, and that's when it started waking me up. It's like, okay, yeah, cool, these videos are good, but like, here's people who care about you, who are always here for you. I'm going to focus on them, and I'm going to focus on myself. So the day I made that promise to myself, this was, I said by my birthday, I'm going to be, no one's going to know I have a chest tear, things like that. My birthday came at the end of March, and no one could tell I had a chest tear or nothing like that. I would show people, like, I don't really see it. And I started getting in better shape than I ever was before. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. No one notices that. Now I'm getting compliments on my physique. And which was weird because I really wasn't working out that much at the time, but I started seeing myself like that. And then the day I really started to buckle down at the gym, I sat in the parking lot, took a deep breath. I said, I'm going to focus on me. Focus on me and get in the best shape as I can, pursue all my goals and stuff like that. And if a great woman comes in my life, she comes into my life. If not, if it is the one I want, it's her, I give up. I'm tired. And I also had this thing, she was going to move to Florida. She wound up moving to Florida. And then I also had a perception she's not going to last a year in Florida. She came back a year later. But that's not my SP. She was for a second. I failed it, but that failure led me to more failures, which led me to a spiritual awakening, which led me to my SP. So, go to the gym. My friend's dad introduces me to this girl. I don't want to get into the whole thing because it's like a long story, but introduced me to her. Things pick up, kind of friends with benefits. I didn't really want to be with her. I'm still thinking about the other chick a little bit and didn't want to get taken off what I was doing, but it all wound up being part of the process. So, like, it was like friends with benefits, then to a point where she blocked me and stuff like that. Like, it was weird, just out of nowhere. Like, I went to go message her to hang out, I'm blocked. So then I started visualizing, like, going on a date with her to the beach or something. All of a sudden I'm unblocked, stuff like that. She's hitting me back up, which is this all common stuff anyway for like hooking up and stuff. Maybe she just wanted a little bit of me, so comes back. So it's like it could be logically justified. So I don't really count that. And then the next time was like I was only I wasn't fully blocked either of these times. It was like semi blocked. It's like she was trying to break away. There was like an age difference between us two. She was like 15 years older than me. So I go back and I think I reached out the second time or whatever. And then I really wanted to go on a trip with her, and I started picturing this trip and stuff like that. But this time I was blocked, like everywhere. She was just kind of like iced me, whatever you want to say, ghosted, everything like that. So I started just picturing the trip, and it was like beginning of August. The trip I was setting was I had the days off for the end of August, and we made the trip, and then she ghosted me. So whatever. I started visualizing that, hey, here's how the trip's going to go. And I was having these conversations with her on the trip, and I was like, it was like Neville in Barbados when he's trying to get out of Barbados, and he only has like a month to get out or whatever, when like it's on a time frame, he was going to Barbados, and Abdullah said, "You already in Barbados?" So I took that and said, "All right, I'm already in Wisconsin Dells with this girl." So every day I was doing that, I was feeling good, and then like there was some small movement, a little talking and stuff like that. I ran into her at the gym, and we started talking, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's go. And when she agreed to it, and then we kept talking every day, things were going good. Felt like a different person each time. Each time when we would separate and stuff like that. And this is when I really started catching feelings for her too. So then it really became SP after this. The other times were easier just because it's easy come, easy go, right? But now I'm kind of catching feelings at this point. And but it's two different people each time. If you want to go by the logical 3D world, you could say, oh, well, that's just, you could say something like bipolar, narcissist, or a term like that. When I bought the Pearl of Great Price, which is what Neville talks about, I'll make another video on the Pearl of Great Price. But basically, you sell all those beliefs about the 3D world having any dictation on you. Only your mind dictates what goes on. Only your subconscious dictates the world and how people treat you. Everyone is you pushed out, your God of your reality. So that's the Pearl of Great Price. That's what Neville teaches. That's what I sold. I sold everything that I believed before to adopt that. So I take that that pearl of great price. And I'm like, okay, well, no, she's just only reflecting my beliefs in myself. So I just went to living in the end, and I rebuilding my self concept. I was getting in really good shape at this time too, and um, other people are complimenting me. There were other girls talking to me, and shocking, but not too many have really talked to me in the past, and I've always had that negative assumption too. And people always say, "Oh, you're a good-looking guy. Why don't you get more women?" But I had that assumption because as a kid, I was a fat kid, so it's like I got rejected a few times, and it's like that kind of stuck in my subconscious of, oh, I always get rejected. No girl wants me. Blah blah blah. They like little skinny dudes because that happened to me as a kid. That's like they could say like your program childhood trauma or something or whatever they call it. I don't know. I don't call it trauma, but whatever um, your impressions you made as a child kind of dictate how you see the world. Anyway, we wound up going on the trip. Trip's good, and then her birthday was like a week or two later. And I said, after this trip, like she did something that made me think she's gonna leave me after this trip. So I said, by her birthday, she's gonna leave me. Take her out for her birthday, and then that night, fucked up too. That night, if I didn't believe in the pearl of great price and all that stuff, and that everyone is you pushed out, if I didn't have that belief, it would be a pretty fucked up situation. So anyway, she fucking blocks me. I spent all this money on her, buy her gifts and stuff like that. I take her out for her birthday, boom, blocked. So it's like, fuck, well, I've never had a girlfriend on Halloween, and I would like to go to a pumpkin patch. So I said, by the end of October. So now it's like September, second week of September, end of October, by October 31st, I'll have her, I said. So then that was just an assumption I put and a belief I had. I'm like, she'll come back. She always comes back. I've done this before. But now it's harder because, like I said, I was catching feelings. So now there's an attachment there. So I have a fear of what if she's with someone else? What if this? And like I said, I think I said it in this video. I've recorded a bunch of videos, but I've got another social media account and stuff like that. So I was able to see it, check in, and be like, oh, is she with someone else? Being a fucking simp, checking, oh, who's she with? Anyway, I didn't see nothing. So it was easier for my stuff. And then sometimes I would use that to be like, oh yeah, oh, my girl posted this, and like, because now I want to date her at this point. I make it more official. But we go on the it was weird because she knows I make short films and comedy and stuff like that, and I told her, like, one of the last things I told her was I was going to make a film between us. And between her blocking me on my birthday, or on her birthday, and Halloween, I ran into her at the gym. And it was a time where she's usually not there, a time where I usually go a little bit later than that, like 15, 20 minutes later. She wound up being there late. I ran into her in the parking lot, and we had a talk, and like it was very emotional. And she's like, I really don't know. I'm so confused at this time. I don't know what's wrong with me. And confusion, because if I'm seeing a certain version, but I'm living in the end of her being a shitty person, it's like she doesn't know. Like, I guess that's the way I could put it. It was like she's kind of confused. So it's a whole sad, like, goodbye, anything. And I said, okay, well, just follow me on Instagram. I'll make a little short for dedicated to you. So I wound up doing this little stupid Western thing where I did it with like a picture I had of her and me when we did like a photo shoot in the Dells, and where we're like Western dressed up. And there's kind of like my way of like releasing. It's like, oh, if she doesn't come back, she doesn't come back. I mean, I'm getting way off my goals now at this point, whatever. I miss her, and maybe this was my catalyst to make a good film. So I start working on a film, working on myself, going on about everything. Every night I go to sleep. This is when I discovered E.L. Lockhart Jr. His grandpa worked with Neville Goddard and trained with Neville Goddard, and he tells a story about when he got broken up with by a girl. His grandpa told him that, oh, if you go to sleep every night as if you were sleeping with her and her apologizing for leaving you and stuff like that, she'll be back within, like, I think he said it happened for him within 2 weeks. So I had the belief, if I do this every night for 2 weeks, I'll have. That was something I really ingrained in. I bought that pearl of great price or whatever. Like, I'm like, that's me. When I do that, she's gonna come back, right? So I do that, and within 2 weeks, I get a message from her. Do you ever make that movie yet? And then I ignored it for 2 days. I was talking to Manifesting Monster too. Manifesting Monster is another channel I watch. I was watching a lot at the time with Akshay. So I was emailing him. I told him, I'm like, hey man, it's crazy. Like, hey, she came back, and things are going good. But no, I said she came back, but you know what? I don't even need to text her for 2 days because now I'm playing games. Like, I'm doing like the relationship game. Oh, I'm not going to respond for 2 days. because I didn't really know if I wanted to too, because I thought the whole thing was shitty. But then I go to respond, she blocked me again. So I'm like, oh fuck. But then I noticed she forgot to block me on Facebook. So I was like, hey, sorry, I missed your message, whatever. Then we start talking again there. Things are going good. I'm feeling it. I really feel like we're dating and stuff like that. And then the way it lined up, it's like the middle of the night. She was drinking an hour away from me. Tells, and it was like my Friday. She goes, oh, I'm drunk up here. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to come up there and see you. So I drive at like 2, 3 in the morning, right before bar closes, all the way up there. We have this whole like really cool, like we're connecting with each other again and reconnecting, and her friend talk, like her friend that she barely sees talked her into like why she should be with me, and she realized it too. And then so it was this whole really cool thing. We reconnect, things are going great, and we spend the night together. This was October 29th, I believe, and then we were both off on the weekend. I think Halloween was on a Sunday or something. But we wound up spending the weekend together, and we were together on Halloween, and we went to the pumpkin patch. Just like that was something I affirmed. But then I was like, she started acting kind of weird towards the end of November, and then I was like, oh, there's a third party. Then now I started watching third party videos, so you got to be careful what you consume too. So I'm like, oh man, there's a third party. I know it. I feel it. And I'm like, oh well, I just want to be with her by Christmas. And like there was a time where like she almost blew me off with this other thing, but I'm trying to think. It's like all the memories are kind of like rushing together. And the video's 21 minutes long now, so I'm trying to make it as short as possible. So, anyway, I was like, okay, well, let me just try to. I'm trying to change the 3D again. This is something I keep falling back into. That's how I kept losing her. Is I kept going back 3D, 3D, 3D. I gotta change the 3D. Oh, I'm gonna take you on a trip here. Oh, I'm gonna do this with you. Oh, I'm gonna buy you this gift. I'm gonna do this. Stuff doesn't matter if your perception of yourself is shit, and how they see you and you think that they see you is shit, and you think they want a third party. That's what's gonna happen. No matter what you do in the 3D world, that has to happen. It has to play out. Everything plays out the way your mind sees it. So I wound up getting blocked and iced and stuff, and then like around Christmas I'm gonna try to message her and stuff like that. And then I saw some stuff where it's like dudes in the background and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's the third party. And it turned out later on, like it was confirmed that yeah, there was one at the time, and she leaves me for him. And I really buckled down when I ran into I was a fucking baby about it, and like, oh well, I got fucked over and stuff for Christmas, around Christmas time, and then all of January, or like towards most of January, and then towards the end of January I go which was actually, this was like paralleling the time, because everything was going great, but all this was paralleling the time I had with that other chick who was kind of like I struck out with. So I was like, I started thinking, what if I'm stuck in a cycle and I'm gonna lose her around the same time? And everything kind of mirrored. It was almost exactly identical. So I was like, oh man, I'm back in this cycle, and she's gonna leave me just like the other girl did, and I'm gonna be alone on Christmas and in January and stuff like that. Towards the end of January, I found this video from Ava. I think Ava Manifested, that's her channel name, but yeah, I watch Ava a lot. So Ava said about how she got her SP, and she goes, I did it within 2 weeks, and I buckled down, mental diet, reading Joseph Murphy and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, I could do this. I did take Elmer's thing, mix it with her, and then I got really, and I was like, okay, I'm buckled down, mental diet, everything's going good. Using Elmer's method every night, and I'm doing like what Ava was doing. And then I didn't know for sure. I only suspected there was a third party, but then at this time I go to the gym. The guy who introduced me and her originally, like a year earlier, said, he goes, hey, I'm glad to see you moved on. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I'm not moved on. I'm just, yeah, moved on. And then he goes, yeah, because she definitely did. She's with another guy. I'm like, and now I'm blocked everywhere, so I can't see it. So I didn't know. And I was pissed, and I was in the gym too when he told me this. So I'm like, well, hold on, let's not repeat the cycle completely, because that was almost a year to the date where I would have torn my pec again. So I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to do this. So I run out to the car. I'm like, I'm pissed off. I don't know what to do. It's like, who the fuck's this guy? Is this guy better than me? And it's like, no, hold on. Stop reacting to 3D. Stop reacting to all that stuff. You're God of your reality. Remember that. Take a deep breath. Calm down a little bit. But like my hands are shaking. I'm all upset. It's like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? I didn't know how. So I went and got drunk. So I got drunk and gambled and lost a bunch of money. Got really drunk. And I'm sitting in the car, and I remember I kept thinking about Create Your Futures. I was like, if I buy Ani's course and I buy a session with someone there, I'm going to get my SP back. And that's kind of like that story from the Bible where I don't remember it exactly, but like the guy is like, I think he has leprosy, so he's dying. But he believed if he touched Jesus's sandals or his cloak or whatever, if he touched Jesus somehow, he would be cured. Or maybe he was a blind guy. I don't know. Whatever. He believed if he went to Jesus and did whatever he was going to do, like that ritual, he would get what he wanted. So I said in my head, and the whole thing, it was sitting in my head for like a month, but I just didn't want to pay all the money for a course. It's not cheap. So I didn't want to pay the money for a course, and I didn't want to admit that I needed help manifesting. But that whole thing was part of like, it was like almost like a ritual that I used. So I'm like, if I do this within 2 weeks, if I do this, if I buckle down like Ava said, I do Elmer's method, and I do this, there's no way I can't have her within 2 weeks. That doesn't matter. Third party doesn't matter. So I did what Ava said. I wrote third party letter. Like she said in her video, she's like, basically, fuck off. So I basically said the same thing. Hey, fuck off. You're going to find someone better. Like very nicely. Like, she did too, but like very nicely. Like, hey, you're going to find someone better, blah, blah, blah. She talks about burning it, and I smoke cigars, so it's like, okay, I was out smoking a cigar. Burn the letter, release it up into the universe. It's all symbolic. You're doing all symbolic. You're doing 3D actions to impress your subconscious because we're trained to react to the 3D, right? So I'm doing 3D actions to impress my subconscious. So I burn the letter. Then I write a letter to her about how much I love her, I forgive her for everything, and burn it. And then I sit there, have my cigar, do a little meditation about how it would be to be back together with her, how it would feel, what she would say, things like that. 2 weeks later, run into her friend at the gym, and I never talked to her friend before. I met her one time. It's her best friend. They live together, and so I knew that if I was going to talk to her, this might be it. So I see her, and her daughter were working out together, and they saw me, and she like by the faces they made and stuff, like, oh wow, because I was actually like in way better shape now at this point. I was kind of like leaned out, shredded and stuff, not shredded, but in pretty good shape. I was in better shape than when they last saw me. So she goes, so I saw them making faces and stuff, so I'm like, it's definitely her, because I couldn't really remember. It's been a long time since I've seen her. And a little voice in my head, here's how you know about inspired action, because people talk about inspired action. I didn't know about inspired action. It's kind of like a voice or an urge. It's like, if you don't do this, you're going to regret it forever. Okay, well, I don't ever talk to people at the gym. I'm generally very shy there. Just mind my own business, do my workout, and leave. And I don't like interrupting workouts. To get off the treadmill, I was near them. I was like, okay, well, I said, hey, excuse me, are you SP's best friend? Yeah, I am. And you're Nick? And I said, yeah, I'm Nick. And she's like, yeah. And one of the things I pictured was, I would do this eavesdropping technique too. I left this out before. Like every time where she would come back, she would tell me about, like, I would tell, I think it would happen 2 of the times. I was like picturing her best friend, because I know they talk every day. And her best friend was always like a big advocate for me, because like she's had shitty relationships before. So I was like, okay, that's easy for me to believe, so I could do this. So I would do these eavesdropping techniques where it's like, I would just visualize the 2 of them talking, and her being like, Nick's the greatest guy, you should be with Nick, and blah, blah, blah. So through thought transmission, or thought transmission, she's now feeling inspired to tell SP the story. SP is reacting the way I wanted her to, and like they have the whole conversation. And you'll see the bridge when it comes after, and everything you've done will be revealed to you. Every imaginal act you have, they'll tell you about it after the SP comes back, which is crazy, because half the time you don't even ask about it. Like, it just comes up and it's like, wait, oh, that was an affirmation. Well, I wrote that, I scripted that, I did this. And I'm way off track, but basically, yeah, I've used all the methods. I used scripting, I used visualization and stuff like that. So basically, here's how I'll sum it all up. Right before I got her, I believed if I bought this session, which I did, I had a very good talk with Bianca from Create Your Future. And I told her, I don't really know if I want the girl back and stuff, because I was kind of detaching at this point. I was angry. And she goes, you could have anything you want, and you'll have it. And so I'm like, okay, there's motivation there. I believed if I had Ani's course, because it had all these success stories, I'll have it. So I did that, and I believed if I did Elmer's technique, I'll have it. And if I wrote the letters like Ava and buckled down and believed and had my inner conversations, and I did my eavesdropping technique where I would listen in on their conversation, I would have everything I needed to have to, get my SP back. And I kept saying it will happen within 2 weeks. I kept writing that too. It's going to happen within 2 weeks. So 2 weeks later, like I said, I ran into a friend at the gym, talked to her. She's like, well, you look very sad. And I'm like, I am sad. I miss her. And she told me, well, she's very sad. She misses you too. Turns out there was a third party. And when you trace back the time, around the time I wrote the letter to fuck off, he he really upset her, and they had like a big falling out, and she leaves him, and she's very depressed at the time, and she kept saying, I really miss Nick, I wish I would have stayed with Nick. And basically leads us together again, because her friend was like, well, she's got you blocked everywhere, but she misses you, and she's a prideful person, which is just a story. I mean, that could be changed too, but the bridge, you'll never know how it's going to happen. The bridge reveals itself in the craziest way. So this whole thing was crazy, because she goes, all right, well, we'll set up a thing where you get off work tonight at what time? I get off at 10. And so, okay, let's meet here. We picked the bar to meet at, and it was a bar I usually go to, and she said her friend knew. She go, oh, we might run into Nick there. And they get there anyway, and we wound up having a great night of drinks and stuff. And part of it was I just wanted closure, just to say, like, what the fuck, why would you leave me? But at the same time, I also knew this is the bridge of instance to get my SP back. So we spent the night together, and we talked about it. And then she was like, well, you never officially made it a relationship. So I'm like, all right, I'll make it official right now. It's a relationship now. And are you in? And she's like, yeah, I want to have a relationship with you. So we have a relationship, and things went really good. And then I was feeling like that's where I was like, really, oh, I'm on top of the world now. And everything felt amazing. And we were together for months after that. And then I started, like, I was doing an acting role at the time. And I'll tell this story later, because I'm not with this SP anymore. But how it was lost. But it was through manifestation to a degree, because part of it was I was kind of done with the relationship. I mean, after all that stuff, it was like, okay, I proved everything I wanted to prove. And I was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. We don't really click anyway. We had like the gym in common and stuff like that. But the whole story was just the fact that I was able to do stuff against all the odds. SP blocking me, having a third party. We weren't long distance, but it felt like long distance. So we had almost every circumstance against us, and things still worked out. And, you know, when my thought patterns changed again, where I really didn't care if I had her or not, that's when things kind of fell apart and we're not together. But I'm gonna tell that's another story. There's a couple of things that triggered off here that where I was like, I got some other stories to tell, but I'm running low on time. It's been 32 minutes. Basically, you have to pick a method that works for you. You are the method. The methods are just there. Your subconscious creates it. So you have to do stuff that makes you believe. So I believed buying a session with Bianca, buying the course from Ani, doing what Ava did, doing what Elmer did, and mixing it all together. I felt I'm unstoppable. And then when you actually get your SP, it's like, wow, I am unstoppable, and you feel great. So and then everything played out, and I said I was gonna be with her by my birthday, and it was 1 year later. And we did it, and I was like, oh, I want to have a 1 year anniversary with her. Kind of 1 year. We weren't really together all that time, but we had that, and like pretty much everything I wanted to play out played out. And we were planning some trips that like she wanted, and I didn't really want to go on them too. So but I was just doing it because she wanted to do it. Back into 3D, not putting yourself first, not prioritizing yourself. My self-concept was slowly slipping too. So all this stuff, it did kind of like lead to another breakup. But I want to tell that whole story too about like where the breakups come from and stuff like that. Anyway, you got to stay positive. You got to stay on your mental diet. That's the biggest thing. Mental diet, inner conversation. Inner conversations are important too, because I felt like I was dating her already. Every time right before we got back together, you get into like the story I told about my ring on the other channel. You feel it's already done, and you feel you already have it. So what's like, whether you get it or not doesn't matter. I'm going to sleep with her every night. So it's like I would do this visualization where I'm sleeping in bed with her. She's laying in my arms, and we have this whole thing, and we're talking, and it feels real. You wake up, because then you fall asleep. Sometimes you dream about it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just fall off and have regular dreams. But it's like every night you're like that. And then the first thing I would do is have gratitude. Thank you for her being my girlfriend, and thank you for even little stuff. Thank you for that that I'm healthy, that I could see, that I look good, that I have my family, that you start everything, no matter how insignificant, you do gratitude in the mornings. And probably going to make a shorter video, because this is a long thing, but this is the long SP version, so I'm going to do probably a shorter one. But anyway, I'm Nick. This is Simply, wait, fuck. I was just talking to Simply Manifesting, Tone at Simply Manifesting right before this. So, no, I'm not Simply Manifesting. This is Mystic Manifesting, and I'm Nick. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it helped you. Hopefully it inspires you that there is no circumstance. No circumstance matters. You can overcome all of them. And remember, once you have your SP, you need to keep it up. Don't just say, okay, now I'm going to be lazy, and because it will fall apart again. Now, you was all with me 5 times, it fell apart again. Every time you get your SP, you have to stay on that mental diet. You have to become that person and live in that reality that you are the shit. You're God of your reality. You're the man. You're the woman. You could do whatever you want. So Just adopt that mentality. Feel like you already have your SP, and I'm gonna do some other videos on it, but for today I'm kind of out of time on videos. I'm gonna post these up. Hopefully they help someone. So I'm Nick, Simply Manifesting. No, not Simply Manifesting, Mystic Manifesting. Should change the name of this shit. I'm out.